it's a great pleasure to welcome so many of you here tonight. We're here, of course, to celebrate Jimmy's life, and I've been told that it's not to be a sad evening, it's to be an evening of fond and happy memories. I want to start off by reading a tribute that was sent to me by friends and colleagues, and I think that if I was going to try and sum up his life, these words do it more concisely than I would were I to try. So I'm going to read out extracts from the tribute that was sent. Born on Saturday the 11th of November 1939 in Kingussie, Jimmy had cerebral palsy, and his mother was told by doctors that he would never be able to do anything for himself. Jimmy spent the first few years of his life in the care of his mum and grandparents, who refused to bow to social pressure to move him to an institution. In 1956, Jimmy moved to Gogurburn Hospital in Edinburgh. After 40 years in institutions, most of us would have had a deep bitterness towards our fate, but not Jimmy. There was never a bitter bone in his body, just plenty of energy, vision and commitment to make things better. However, Jimmy survived and began to thrive as conditions improved. In 1981, as a member of the Gogurburn Patients Committee, he and 3 others took the government to court and won the right for patients to vote. Jimmy met the love of his life, Elizabeth, here in 1976, and they married in Gogurburn on the 17th of August 1983. In December of that year, they left Gogurburn for their first home more than 40 years after Jimmy was first institutionalised. Jimmy's achievements over the years are too many to mention. Taking a lead in service user groups, Jimmy helped set up Scottish Advocacy in 1996. He sat on the People First Committee, the Edinburgh Development Group, who organised tonight, and was a long-serving board member of Partners in Advocacy, of which he was the chair for over 6 years. He was immensely proud of the staff and volunteers of each of these charities, and honoured to play a part in their journey. Jimmy was instrumental in fighting for accessible transport, sat on many council committees and the Social Services Council, actively campaigned on issues such as bullying and hate crime, and continued to campaign right up to the last local elections when he stood as an independent candidate. An inspirational person who deserves to be long remembered. Jimmy was a survivor, a battler, and above all, a people's champion who believed in the right to speak up for those less able. Losing Jimmy McIntosh, who passed away on Friday the 30th of May at the age of 74, will make this a sadder world. All those who loved and knew him, though, are blessed with fond memories and commitment to carry on his legacy. Those are the words of the tribute that was sent to me. I had the privilege of meeting Jimmy once, 18 months ago, I was reminded, and there's a photograph to prove it. And I very much enjoyed the visit, but I have to say that it was a very challenging one, and what I thought would be just a civic and shake a few hands and say hello to some people turned out to be really quite a grilling, but I did thoroughly enjoy it though, and that has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I haven't been back since, but I will come back again because the group is still going. But that kind of sums it up. Challenging but energetic. His life was not destroyed by the fact that he was institutionalised for over 40 years. Indeed, he turned that into a strength and actually bounced back with an energy and a commitment to speak up for people who couldn't speak for themselves. He had an absolutely inspirational life. But I'm not going to get sad. I'm going to say that it's a life that we should celebrate. We all have fond memories of Jimmy, and that's what we're here today to think about. So if I can ask you just to take a few moments to think about Jimmy this evening and to celebrate his immense commitment to life in this city and Scotland, and also how he was regarded by all those round about. Thank you. There's another speaker.
Lord Provost, ladies and gentlemen, take continued silence for Sandy Devine, Edinburgh Development Group. Sandy.
Hi, yeah, as the guy said, my name is Sandy. I am the Vice Chair of the Edinburgh Development Group, acting up for Sheila, who cannot be with us today. I'd like to thank you all for coming today and this evening. It's been great to have you all here to remember Jimmy Mack. He was such a great campaigner and such a great guy to know. I'd also like to thank Elizabeth, his wife, for letting us organise this event, and I'm glad we could go ahead with it. As the Lord Provost said, Jimmy was a great guy. I knew him personally through the Edinburgh Development Group organisation. He did a lot of work for people who had disabilities, and he did a lot of work for the Edinburgh Development Group. I sat with him for many years on the board, and he always listened intently to what was being said and contributed when he needed to. He wasn't one to sort of overtake conversations, and everybody liked him, and he liked us as well. If you allow me to sort of say a few funny stories about Jimmy. One of our development workers a few years ago, about 2 years ago, had to leave us. He had to go off to join the Thistle Foundation. Actually, wanted to go and join the Thistle Foundation. He's here tonight. I'm not going to mention any names because he's just going to get embarrassed. But we had, as you know, when you're interviewing people, when somebody leaves an organisation, we have to go through a procedure called an interview, and we have to advertise our job. And there was a job available for a development worker. We decided to halve this job into two. And I'm rambling a wee bit, but I'm going to get to the point in a minute. I was on that interview panel, and so was Jimmy Mack, with two of his PAs. And we interviewed four applicants for that job. One was absolutely brilliant, got the job. The woman after her didn't. And the reason why she didn't was A, she patronised Jimmy, and she didn't like he was 9. Secondly, when she left, Jimmy must have been a fan of, what's his name, Alice Cooper. Because as soon as she left the room, he went, "She's poison." And we decided, or I'd already decided, that there was no way that woman was going to get that job for us. Because her values were completely opposite of what Edge's values are. And she didn't get the job. Another funny thing about Jimmy was, he was involved with a lot of organisations, not just with Edge. A lot of people here tonight know that Jimmy was involved with the New Horizons group, and he was also involved with the Dominoes Club. I've started to play dominoes on my iPad, so I always think of Jimmy as a keen domino player. But another thing about Jimmy was, he always seemed to remind me of the young Mr. Grace from Are You Being Served? And ask me why. I don't know why he did, he just did. But if I watch that program, I always think of Jimmy. But Jimmy was a really nice guy, and he was a campaigner, and that was the great thing about Jimmy. Being in a hospital setting, especially when hospitals are so controlled, to see somebody be able to fight for that, and to be able to campaign against the controlling and against other things that were going around was great, because in the hospitals, like places like that, you weren't really allowed to have it. So for Jimmy to be able to do that was a great thing. And he was involved in so much. One of the other things that was mentioned about Jimmy was the 23 bus. He liked to go on the 23 bus, and people knew him on the 23 bus. So the 23 bus won't be the same again. 22. Oh, sorry, I thought it was the 23. Okay, the 22 bus. I thought it was the 23, sorry. Okay. Okay, well, I'll direct that. The 22 bus will not be the same again. Okay, so we hope you have an enjoyable evening, and I'd like to thank you again for coming. And just have a great time here for such a really kind, good man. Thanks.
Please don't get married. Please don't get married. I'll get ready to leave.
Okay, finally, ladies and gentlemen, Maureen Martin would like to say a few words.
Thank you very much. My part of the evening is to tell you a bit about what we hope that you'll be able to take part in. This is your opportunity to have your memories about Jimmy. We have 3 cameras, one that Ian's holding, one that Steve's holding over here, and Hells is holding our iPad. And when we invited you along to this evening, we asked if you might bring along a memory of Jimmy and share that memory. So if you want to, then please do, and we'll be wandering around, and if you want to, we'll take your memory of Jimmy and we'll put some sort of montage together which we will produce. We're not sure what it'll look like, not sure what it'll be, but we think that it's another opportunity to keep remembering Jimmy, keep giving his legacy as we go along. The other thing that we're doing at the moment is Jimmy wrote he wrote his autobiography with the help of Leslie Fox, who was his PA, and we're hoping to be able to have that book published. So there's work going on, and Sean Bradley is here, who's going to help us edit it, and we hope that that will come out at the end of the year, just to keep Jimmy's memory here in the city and remember the work that he did. So hope you enjoy this evening, enjoy the food, enjoy the company, most of all enjoy his memories. Thank you.
Thank you.